Hi, welcome to Music Theory Essentials number 1. I'm Jacob, and we're going to be talking about how to make a chord stack today. So, we'll start with C major, and the first step is always going to be just to write out our scale in a line. That way we can see all of the note names in the order of the scale. After that, we'll start building triads. So, C, E, G is going to make a major triad, and then we'll write Roman numerals underneath each note name so we know the quality of the chord. D, F, A is going to be a minor chord, so we write it as a lowercase Roman numeral. Another minor chord, E, G, B, and then F, A, C is a major chord, so we're going to write an uppercase Roman numeral 4. 5 is a really important chord, G, B, D, another major chord. This one's going to be our dominant chord, and we'll talk about that more later. A, C, E is going to be another minor chord, a 6 chord. Last but not least is B, D, F. This one has a little bit different chord quality. It's actually going to be a diminished chord. And so right now we're working with triads, but we can add some sevenths to these chords to make them a little bit more interesting. The most common place to add a seventh is going to be on the 5 and 7 chords. So adding that F to the 5 makes it a dominant chord. So we add the 7, and then adding the A on top of the B chord actually changes it to a half diminished 7 chord, which is really cool. So let's talk about the functions. Our 1 chord is going to function as our tonic, and this will always be the case. Whenever we have a key center, 1 will be tonic. So I mentioned earlier dominant chords. Here we have our 5-7 and our 7 chord. Those are going to be both dominant functioning chords. And then lastly, our other chords are going to be pre- or subdominant chords, which function before dominant chords. And this will always be the same no matter what key you're in. But an interesting feature with the 6th chord is that it can actually sometimes function almost as a substitute tonic chord. All right, now that we have that down, let's try out some more keys. For this video, we'll take a look at a flat key and a sharp key, but we'll stay in major for now. We'll talk about how we can use this in minor keys in a later video. So, F major with 1 flat, let's write out the scale. And then always make sure to put your accidentals on the page when you're writing these out, just so you don't forget. So, let's make our triads. FAC is going to be major. This is where the accidental is important because without it, we wouldn't have the minor chord that we need. Another minor chord for the A chord. Our B flat chord is going to be major because it's the 4. And then C, E, G, the dominant chord in this scale, is also going to be major. And then we have D, F, A as the 6th chord, another minor chord. And finally, we have our diminished chord, E, G, B, flat as the 7th. And then, of course, we can add some sevenths on these chords as well. So adding the B flat on the C chord gives us our C dominant 7. And then adding the D on the E chord gives us our half diminished 7. Let's try a sharp key. So D major, 2 sharps. We got to make sure we write in all of the accidentals every time we write an F sharp or a C. So let's add our triads. Our major triad. This is where the accidentals are really important. 2 is minor, E, G, B. And then another minor chord, F sharp, A, C sharp. And then going on to our G major chord, G, B, D. And then our dominant functioning chord for this scale is going to be A, C sharp, E. This is a really important one. And then our 6th chord, B, D, F sharp, is going to be minor. And then, last but not least, again, we have our diminished triad, C sharp, E, G. And then, like all of the rest of the chords that we've done, we can add the sevenths on the dominant functioning chords. So our 5-7 chord and our 7 half diminished 7 chord. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos later.